spade a spade. Yes, there are issues of insecurity. What we need is help, not escalation. The Africa of today is governed by regional economic communities that are harmonizing trade rules. The African Continental Free Trade Area is creating the largest single market in the world by the number of countries and by the market of 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of over $3 trillion. This is not a continent to be pitied. It's a continent to be partnered with on equal footing. The mean age of the African population is 19.2 years. Due to factors that we hope will change, because the reason our mean age is that young is because we die earlier. But the benefit is that we have a virile, versatile, educated, and youthful workforce. The business mindset must therefore shift from extractive transactions to transformative investments, from short-term profit to long-term partnership, from seeing Africa as a testing ground to seeing Africa as a growth engine. Both continents are undergoing profound transitions. Europe is reindustrializing and greening its economy, moving towards clean energy, circular production, and digital transformation. Africa, on the other hand, is urbanizing rapidly, digitizing its economy, and investing in renewable energy and youth innovation. And must be aligned. Africa holds 60% of the world's renewable energy potential. Europe holds decades of industrial and technological expertise. The Netherlands in particular has the highest number of solar installations per capita of their population in the world. So we can learn a lot from the Netherlands. Europe holds decades of industrial and technological expertise. Together, we can build a new paradigm of co-created growth that is green, inclusive, and mutually beneficial. On the issue of migration, it's as if Mr. Michel, maybe I saw his speech, but I know what we need to talk about at these meetings. So I guess we may sound alike, but the beautiful thing is that our perspectives are very close, if not similar. Migration is a bridge, not a barrier. But this is another crucial aspect of our intercontinental relationship that requires a new mindset. That's the issue of migration. Too often, migration has been portrayed as a crisis to be managed rather than a force to be harnessed. Yet, when well governed, migration is not a problem. It's an opportunity. We must tackle the issue of migration between Africa and Europe in a way that is mutually beneficial to both continents. Africa's youthful population is an asset. Europe's aging workforce presents a challenge. A fair, regulated, and humane framework for mobility can serve both needs. There should be a regular pathway for legal migration. Pathways that attract people and skills needed in the European countries, seeking to shore up their workforce, while ensuring that migration remains dignified, orderly, and mutually enriching, and not exploitative. I don't want to mention the country, but if I tell you what I'm about to tell you, you'll know. I was shocked to find out that some people that were granted like work visas to a particular country, who maybe ordinarily after 5 years will now be entitled to permanent stay, has shifted it from 5 to 20. You know, I'm like, why? To me, and I will stand anywhere if I was addressing them directly to say this is exploitative. It's not fair. It's not fair. And so many things, you know, when you dish out things as if we're in a position to do it. What I want us to do, though, is rise up as Africans and say we don't have to take it. Sit here. Sort out your country. Let's sort out our country. Let's sort out our continent. This is what I've always believed in. I don't believe in AIDS. I don't believe in handouts. We can make it work. Let me not go on that tangent. So, when talent circulates, innovation flows. When movement is managed, both continents prosper. We must therefore move from the defensive approach to migration to a developmental approach. One that sees people as bridges, not as burdens. So, how can we do this? To build on trust and equality. Michelle mentioned it. Trust is very critical in any relationship. To shape a truly intercontinental business between Africa and Europe, we must anchor our cooperation on 5 key principles. 1, co-creation, not prescription. Policies affecting Africa should be designed with African stakeholders at the table. When strategies such as the Dutch Africa Plan are revisited or implemented, they should incorporate the perspectives of African governments, private sectors, and youth voices. Ownership begins with participation. Number 2, value addition within Africa. European investors must continue to partner in setting up industries in Africa, not just to extract raw materials, but to manufacture, process, and innovate locally. The success story of Friesland Campina is a case in point. This is a great company with the right mindset. Such companies will create jobs, reduce poverty, and deepen regional value chains. I really appreciate Friesland Campina because they keep improving on even the concept of their trade within Nigeria. I could talk for 30 minutes on the different things that they brought to Nigeria to expand their business, but to improve also the livelihood of the Nigerians doing business with them. Number 3, fair trade and access to markets. Trade frameworks must reflect fairness. Non-tariff barriers and complex standards often disadvantage African producers. The future must prioritize access, technology transfer, and mutually beneficial agreements under the ACTA and the EU frameworks. The CBI Ginger Initiative is a welcome collaboration between Nigeria and the EU. The Nigerian ginger is considered amongst the best in the world. Its aroma, sharp taste, and high oil content are unique features. Nigeria was the world's 3rd largest producer of ginger in 2018. Still, economic growth in Nigeria is spread unevenly, and many people live in poverty. The Nigerian ginger sector has the potential to add more value and diversify its markets. In 2021, the Center for the Promotion of Imports from Developing Countries, CBI, started a project to strengthen the sector's quality services. In the project, Nigerian small and medium enterprises are supposed to create value-added ginger products. This is done by improving quality, helping with sustainability certification, and organic or refined processing. These are the kind of support that we need. Number 4, technology and knowledge partnership. The 21st century partnership must be based on technology transfer, research collaboration, and capacity building. Let us replace the model of finished goods for raw materials with one of shared innovation. We cannot keep collecting peanuts for our coffee beans while paying premium dollars at Starbucks. This is the reality today. They take the coffee beans off the people that make them, and when it gets to Europe, a cup sells, I don't know, those that drink coffee a lot, they will know. The average cup is about how much? No, $5 is cheap, no. It's about $10 and above, and depending on what name they call it, you could pay $30 for a cup of coffee, that those that produced it got peanuts. Yes, so we must put an end to such injustice. Number 5, inclusive growth and sustainability. Intercontinental business must be anchored in sustainability, environmentally, socially, and economically. Not be left behind in this journey. The market is large enough for everyone to get a share. Like a Yoruba proverb says, the sky is big enough for all birds to fly without impeding one another. So what are the examples of the opportunities we have? The opportunities for partnerships are vast. In energy, Africa's abundant sunlight and Europe's technology can together lead the world in renewable innovation. I want to acknowledge that the Dutch have already started a lot of partnership in this direction because I hosted such delegations while I was at The Hague. Also in agriculture, Africa's fertile lands and Europe's processing expertise can ensure food security on both continents. With the golden triangle approach of the Netherlands, that's government, research institutions, and the private sector working together in partnership, a lot of prosperity is possible. It is no wonder that Netherlands is the second largest producer of food in the world, because Netherlands has mastered how to improve its yield on their produce. You know, in Nigeria, when we plant potato, you pluck it off, you may get like 8 tubers. But in Netherlands, you pull up one and you could get up to 40. That's the trick. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened with the effort of the research institutions in that country, partnering with government. Government sponsors a lot of. The African nations need to imbibe that. They not only support their work, they also provide finance. It's not rocket science, it's not magic. It's a system that works. We too can do it. And with the help of Netherlands, they have also done a lot with our seedlings. All I am just hoping for is that we'll be very wary of GMOs. The reason is that yam in Nigeria today is no longer as good as it used to be. If you buy 5 tubers of yam, you'll be lucky to be able to eat 3 of them because the rest will spoil quickly. And I want to believe that it's because those things have been tampered with. But these are things that we too should talk about, develop, and make progress with. So in healthcare, Africa's growing pharmaceutical sector and Europe's regulated health system. In digitalization, Africa's mobile-driven innovation and Europe's cybersecurity frameworks can together narrative. You must remember that narrative shape behavior because for too long, Africa's story has been told by others. Just like my friend Dylan, Michelle Dylan, or let me say Omotunde said, is when you see the things that are said, even as it's depicted. With us, and I'm including myself, the average Nigerians that we speak ill of our nation, not understanding that the repercussions will come back to haunt all of us. I went to Bronx and I saw rats and cockroaches. Then, can you blame the It's only the good part of their country they show you. Who is asking you to go and be showing Ajegunle? We must reclaim the narratives. As an African diplomat, I know that it's time for Africa to tell its own story, confidentially, creatively, and collaboratively. Understand that when Africa speaks with a clear voice, the world listens. When we negotiate with clarity and unity the terms of engagement, we must therefore approach intercontinental business come to the table with a true understanding of the future of strategy speaks of mutual by ensuring African inclusion in every and African entrepreneurs, scientists, and innovators co-create the industry and value chain partnerships that value what we do not value ourselves. Policies, infrastructure, trade more with each other, one another, because the artificial division of Africa give way to deliver. Let us remember that no one will add value to our resources unless we decide to do so ourselves. Africa must first be developed by Africans. People respect what is developed. If you want to go far, go together. The spirit of Ubuntu. Africa and Europe are natural neighbors. Africa and Europe must go donor and recipient, not but as partners in progress, equals in vision, and co-architects of a sustainable future. In closing, let me return to where I began. We are not just shaping intercontinental business. We are shaping intercontinental destiny. We are being pragmatic to 2032 gives us an opportunity, not a to build upon Africa strategy. It is an invitation to replace extraction with equality and charity with shared prosperity. With mutual respect, recognizing that Africa is not a problem to be solved, where every resource, every innovation, every partnership adds values, not just to economies, but to human lives. As we engage in this dialogue today, let us ensure that the next time an African strategy is written, thank you.
So very much. Yes. Let's put our hands together. Thank you so very much. That was very, very powerful. You will agree with. Right from Mr. Dylan, Mr. Omowale, all that we do here reminds me of the four-way test of one very important international legend. Is to all concerned and better friendships. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I think partnership that is dealt with in truth and in trust will indeed build better friendships. I am just to introduce, not to talk. And so, I'm going to bring up our panel. I know we've all been waiting for this. That's been a good foundation laid by Mr. Dylan and Ambassador for a robust discussion this morning. And so, it is my pleasure to call out the panelists so that they can take their seats. Media, can I have the microphones, please? Yes. And to also moderate this session is Miss Antonia Smith. Can we put our hands together for her as she comes? Because I'm going to be yielding the microphone to you and leave the stage. I would like to call on the panelists. The first is Dr. Honorable Kenneth Bandi. He comes forward. Then the Consul General, we are not letting you go yet because you are a key player in this discourse. Let's again welcome Mr. Mitchell Omowale Dylan. Omotunde. All right, please take your seat. Then we have Tessa Bogu. Is she here? Bago, yes. All right, thank you. Thank you. Sorry for Tessa Bago. Yeah, sorry for that. Then last but not the least is Miss Antonia Smith.
Yes, you can take your seat over there, sir. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, if you can pass on the microphones then, please. Good morning. Good morning. It is such an honor and privilege to be here today with such distinguished guests. Thank you so much for your presence, for your time, and for your contribution to the conversation today. I'm Antonia Smith, very much a daughter of the soil, very much Nigerian on paper. But my foundations are Nigerian, my roots are Nigerian. I now work in the technology space. I serve different industries like the oil and gas industry, communications as well as mobility. So it's a really moment for me today. Thank you so much. Now, before we go into the hot seats, it's going to be a very hot seat today, okay? But ideas are formed, right? And notions are debunked, correct? So before we go into that, I think I would just like to give the mic to every single person that hasn't had the chance to introduce themselves to do so really quickly. But most importantly, to actually just share one impact in your career so far that you'd like to share with the group, okay? Because yes, I know that you have amazing CVs and impact, right? That would be incredible, okay? How about we start with you?
Take some time. Okay. Yes. Good morning. To say a big thank you to Elvis for inviting me. My name is Ehi Brima. I live and work in Nigeria, but I travel a lot. I'm basically a media entrepreneur. I also have interest in hospitality and digital marketing solutions. Well, primarily I write. I'm a journalist, and we have online media platforms. And the main reason we set up Niger Times in 2020 during the COVID, at the height of COVID, because basically an online platform, was to see how we can tell our stories better as Nigerians. So Niger Times is focused on Nigeria, and the slogan is journalism in the service of society, which means the focus Nigeria and across Africa to tell our stories a lot better. So essentially, that's why I'm spending most of my time. We also run a PR and event company with New Media and Marketing. And talking about impact, I would like to really drill down more with what we are doing with Niger Times as we tell our stories and change the narrative about Nigeria and Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Now, what do I call you? Do I call you Olatunde? Do I call you Michelle? I think I will adopt that name today for this session, okay? Thank you so much for that introductory session. I can already feel your presence in terms of, the impact that you have facilitated across, this nation and yours as well. Is there anything of note that you'd like to share as to what your personal to Nigeria?
That's a difficult one. Because every single day we try, to make an impact. I'm not saying it works every day, but every single day we try to do something. And I think one of the things that is very close to my heart is in the cultural space, where we always try to bring in artists from and months in Lagos when lots of things happen in the art scene, and we always try to bring people from the Netherlands to participate here, and it all their lives too.
Absolutely. I didn't expect that actually about the your affinity with the arts. Big. What about you, sir?
Yeah, thanks for putting this together. My name is Honorable Kenneth Chibo-Gubandi. I've been in Germany for the past 30 years. One of the by RAT.
Incredible.
I had the privilege of representing the interests of our continental chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Organization.
Talk about.
Well, for the dangers of a single story, I also in history of Germany, also to tell our own story. And they it's from all the speakers, one of the best in the world in the international community. I also given the privilege to participate in both the political and economic development of Nigeria. Thank you.
Incredible.
What is it, morning, afternoon?
It's
Before you ask, a lot of people know me as Iyaye Beji.
yeah, Beji.
I have lived in Nigeria for longer than I've lived in my parents' house. I'm married to a Nigerian with an investment in Nigeria. So selling, and it's all about partnerships. And the critical part of that is partnership. So, I debunk those notions by showing a success. Wow. In my office,
Good.
to my staff and to my visitors, and if you, and then people are like, oh, you're married to the north, but if you go on the map from Gembu, and every time we do projects across the country, I ask my staff, who hasn't been to Kano for the Ginger Project? For try to spread, even debunk myths within Nigeria about Nigeria.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay. A bit of a hot to we can all take into conversation. There are so many misconceptions. Africa. Which can be really, really annoying because, we have so many different cultures.
Which was when you say Nigeria, okay, let's start. And the rest of Africa is actually looking up to Nigeria to lead from the front. Now we talk about a young, vibrant youth. As at 2 years ago, Africa it is because Nigeria were billion. this population will double. That we must move. So governments and the presidents in Africa must come together. Kenya. Last said, and I checked that out. It's over grow and then be a game changer. With the entrepreneurship program in Africa every year. 54 countries every year, he identifies young that we can unleash the wealth of Africa where we empower young entrepreneurs. Mentor in that program as well. So at least I have an insider perspective of what he's doing with this young African story, from aid to wealth creation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was really very insightful. Can you what young entrepreneurs time that we started. How about you?
It's a bit of a combination. I don't think the misconceptions are the reason. Addressing the misconceptions can be part of it. Business with India. And while India also, if we organize trade missions to Nigeria, a year and several but the perception solution.
A barrier.
As we also say to, I think the ginger. But of course there are
the Petition of Africa from Berlin. Turkish community or the Turkish business delegation, they say the major problem we're having is, I think the first case actually means different thing in English. It's actually C, crisis, conflict, poverty, and he made mention that His Excellency when he said that these international donors using some very horrible pictures to depict help for Africa. And so invest in a country or in a continent where you think you can get your return on investment. And so it is important to, to address that. But most importantly, the media, they control the narratives. And so, and the international media seems to be the mouthpiece of the world, both politically and economically. So I think it's also very, very important that the Africans also begin to speak for themselves. We agree that we have a lot of poor people in Africa, but Africa is not poor. I mean, they said it over and over again. I will just give a very clear example. Why I started the African Heritage magazine in Germany, I came from a family that almost all my siblings are married to, to Western countries. My uncle's wife is from Scottish. She's actually the first president of Niger Wives in Nigeria, and I think they are still very active. And so when I got to Germany, to the university, you sit in the train, you can't sit with a German on the train because they feel like you're very. So I was very curious to say, I mean, these are the people I know from the world. Anyway, to cut the long story short, that led to the establishment of the first black magazine in Germany, where we decided to tell our own stories. And it was through this story I was able to also debunk this notion, at least in the German community, that the most sophisticated train station in Germany, in fact, the most sophisticated train station in the whole of the world, Lentin train station in Berlin, was constructed by an African. Germans are very, very attached to culture. Kunst, the Haus der Kunst in Germany, which is one of the most respected cultural houses, has a curator by Ben Emovo, a Nigerian. And so when people begin to understand that we have a lot of things to contribute, in terms of human resources and also capital resources, the narrative is going to change. The Nigerians in diaspora between the 2026, 27, 28 remitted over $62 billion to Nigeria, which is higher than the earnings from the Nigerian oil sector, also combined higher than the international direct investment in Nigeria. And so we have what it takes. We must have to go into such negotiation as partners, equal partners, not as donor recipients, so to say. And so once we begin to change this narrative, I think we'll begin to debunk this notion. Action speaks louder than words.
Apparently, oh God. I was saying it's such a privilege to be privy to these conversations. Thank you so much. Are you all inspired? Absolutely. A big round of applause, please. I would love to hear your take as well.
Yeah, so I think Ambassador Ajayi already said in many words, ignore Africa at your own risk, at your own peril. I mean, it's insane. And in my view, every export manager working for a globally exporting firm should be fired if they don't have an Africa strategy. But if you want more business to this continent, you have to de-risk it. And de-risking is both on a factual basis and on a perceived basis. So yes, we need more guarantees, export credit financing and all those things, but we also need to de-risk in the minds of people. And I agree with what my countryman there says about, you know, the interest in Africa being low. On a daily basis, I speak to companies that are interested, and even beyond Africa, now looking at Nigeria, they're afraid of coming here. When I enter the plane back to Lagos, usually KLM, I always get the question, oh, you live there, is that not unsafe? Then, you know, last year I was in Brussels and I checked into my fancy hotel close to the Jardin Botanique, which is also close to the Brussels North Station, and was told not to leave the hotel at night alone.
Right, yeah.
You know, safety is perception. Like, I mean, I share videos of walking on the streets of Lagos so that people know, like, oh, you're not instantly being kidnapped, you know? I have people telling me that their wives won't allow them to travel to Nigeria because if it's so unsafe, and then they tell me they go on holiday to Johannesburg and rent a car. You know, so we need to debunk those myths with facts. And another one is like, oh, if you do business with Nigeria, you risk losing money. Yes, there's scams. There's also very stupid people that fall for them. But actually, a lot of business with Nigeria is instantly paid for, even before you ship it off to Nigeria. So we actually have a very good payment reputation for those who know. And you can be very successful here, and we need to show those stories. And on the point of trade missions, perhaps, you know, trade missions also go the other way. And there I'd like to put a bit of responsibility back to, you know, people in Africa to keep telling that story on the one hand, and showing the best of themselves, and not going to a country and all kinds of meetings are set up for you and then you go shopping before you head back, and you don't honor those meetings. It has to come from both sides, always. But I feel what you said, my neighbor here, sometimes the perceived risks, the perceived issues are more important than the actual ones.
Reality.
Because the actual ones are not that bad, actually. And if you look at like the rest of the world globally now, like the time that we live in, it's insane. Like sometimes I think that like Nigeria is on the right path and the rest of the world is sort of like going backwards. You know? So let's keep on debunking those notions and keep on showing that if you do make that step and you commit to a country like Nigeria, a continent like Africa, you will grow in every possible way. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. While I have you on the mic, so I have two very direct questions to the two Dutch people and also to the Nigerians. So there is a notion about Dutch people, you know, for a lot of you that have not traveled to the Netherlands, that the Dutch can be quite, for lack of a better word, rigid of a people. Not just socially, but also when doing business, right? So how true is this notion, and how do you think that affects business and collaboration?
You may be more Dutch than me, by the way. There's definitely truth to that, and one of the things I love about living in Lagos is that there's no rigid social life, and you can just show up, and you don't need to plan 3 months in advance and all those things. And there is also truth in the rigidness that some companies feel that, oh, I have a product and it's great and you must buy it, and because I'm the best and I'm not going to move with you. There's definitely truth to that. But I don't like equating an entire nation with one particular thing, also not about Nigeria. And I've seen Dutch companies that have a long-term view, export managers that come here that work with their partners. So there's a truth to that, but I wouldn't entirely agree.
Okay, and that's why we have these conversations, okay? What about you?
They might be rigid before they come to Nigeria, but if they want to be successful here, and if, you know, if we bring them here and they look around and we help them, they will realize that that there's another way to do business. So yes, there might be some that are rigid, but the ones that do business with Nigeria in the end will not be. Otherwise, they will not be successful. You know, you can be a company in the Netherlands and sell your product to a company in Germany, and you will never see the person in Germany because it's all done online. Here, it doesn't always work like that. It could, but in general, it wouldn't work like that. So people expect you to show up and to be there and to meet them and to have that discussion with them. So yeah, if they're too rigid, they'll lose out. They're too bad for them, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, on to the Nigerians. This is a very, very important one. Okay, this is a really important one, and I think it's about time we shared the actual reality. There's a big misconception or conception that Nigeria is a very dangerous place to be in, and it can get quite violent. Okay, this misconception has affected a lot of us, has affected a lot of our businesses, and it really hinders what we are trying to do here. So can you expand on what the real situation is like?
Thank you. I started by saying that I live and work in Nigeria. But that's not just that. That's part of the story. The real story is that if you check the flights coming into Nigeria every day, most of the time they are full. And when you look to the left, you look to the right, you see a lot of what? Expatriates, a lot of foreigners coming into Nigeria. How we tell the stories about foreigners coming to Nigeria is enough to debunk the notion that Nigeria is a violent place. We have our problems, no doubt, whether you call them security challenges, but we live here. Let me say this. Dr. Nella Jai talked about Friesland Campina a while ago. It's a Dutch company. Another great Dutch company in Nigeria is Nigerian Breweries. Will be 80 years old next year. A company that has lasted for 80 years, owned by our brother here, Delane's country. I think we should put our hands together for Friesland Campina and Nigerian Breweries. To do business in this environment that people say is toxic, it is violent, it is bad, there are scammers, they've been here for 80 years and still going strong. Hey, give us a break. We have our problems, but Nigeria is still the best place to be in the world. I say this without serious. I've had the opportunity of living abroad, living and working abroad, whether it's in the UK, the US, Canada. But I said, no, let's do it here. And that's the primary, as I said, Nigeria Times is how we can tell our stories and make Nigeria a better place. In addition to that, I believe that as a people, there's so much going for us in Nigeria. Our sense of community is a big force in Nigeria. And even our foreigners recognize that. They're less coming. As the Chinese, they're in Nigeria, coming in every day. Okay? I just gave an example about two great Dutch companies. When Nigeria, we marked our 65th anniversary recently, October 1. I did a special article called Why Nigeria Holds a Special Place in the World. And I said all the great things about Nigeria, and they're all true. So the problem we need to really focus on now is how we can get the right leadership transformation. All right? Nigerians are wonderful people. Once they have the right leader, they're ready to follow. Whether at the federal level, or at the state level, or at the local level. We are wonderful people. We have boundless energy. We are enterprising. We are hardworking. Go to any African country. They always fall in love with Nigerians. You know, because they say we walk the talk most of the time. So this other narrative that it's a dangerous place, the people are this, the people are that. Ask him, he lives here.
I hope this is being streamed
The
to
other
the
day,
BBC.
Mark Zuckerberg was in Lagos, and he was jogging on the streets of what? Lagos. I didn't see security people around him. So I go out at night in Lagos. Fine, the security challenges, we will deal with them, but there's no country without their own problems.
100%. Yeah.
And where do you want 220 million people to go to? You see why the world needs to protect Nigeria? If there's a crisis in Nigeria today, the refugee crisis will overwhelm the whole of Africa. 220 million people, and still counting. By 2050, it will be 400 million. So the world must take care and preserve Nigeria, which is why, if this topic, debunking notions, reshaping mindset in living in Africa, were to be like a research topic for an MBA student, what would be the keywords? Economic resilience. Future market or today's market? The next economic frontier of the world? The whole world is moving to Africa. You can see the renewed interest in Africa, whether it is Russia or China or the US. There's a new scramble for Africa. And most of the focus will be where? Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I was just about to say, Pastor Elvis, I hope this is being streamed to the CNN or BBC because this is such powerful conversation. Thank you. How about you, sir?
Yeah, let me play the devil's advocate. Do we have security challenge in Nigeria? Absolutely yes. Let's not downplay it. But do we also have security challenge in Germany or in Netherlands? Absolutely yes. And so it is how we handle it that really matters. We shouldn't also, be denying the facts. And because our international business people are not stupid. They read things, even though some of the things they are reading. But what I'm trying to say, I agree with the first speaker, that we have, Germany is about 82 million people. And so if the 82 million people will have a crime rate of probably, let me say 5% of 82 million people, you can, I'm not a good mathematician, but you can work it out. But if you have also the 5% of 120 million or 200 million people, it's high. And so it's comparatively the same. Just that it's one is more and the other one is. So yes, we have security challenges, but we should also be able to address it. I think the difference between Nigeria, I must be very honest, compared to Germany, Netherlands, or US, is that you can be sure that if you step outside your train station and you get attacked by one hooligan or the other, you can be sure that within the next 5-10 minutes, there's going to be an emergency response. Somebody is going to come to your rescue. If we begin to do that in Nigeria, people will say, yes, we have security challenge, but there are things in place to make sure that it's also checked. The other thing is, again, my last speaker said that is also good governance, rule of law. If you are in Germany and you fail in a business, whatever, you can be sure you go to the court and seek redress. And in most cases, you get justice. I don't know if that's the case in Nigeria, to some extent. And so when we begin to address such issues, it's going to make a lot of difference. But I must say something. Again, we agree that the media, the perception, the narrative are a little bit, responsible for most of this. And I think it is true. I've been in Germany, like I said, for the past 30 years. There's what we call AHK, Außenhandel, from the German government, which are responsible for international trade. I've worked with them for a couple of times. I had the privilege of hosting virtually all the presidents of Nigeria, apart from His Excellency Bola Tinubu, from Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Buhari. We had the privilege as diaspora to host them. What we realized that these big corporations, they have access to the government. They can cut deals. And it is this big corporation that actually fuel this narrative that Nigerians are not safe because they don't want competition. They want to maintain the monopoly they have. They scare the small firms around and the rest. That's why it's very, very essential that we should also be involved in telling our own stories. And yes, we have challenges, just like the Germans, the Americans, and the Netherlands have challenges. And so I think if we begin to redefine who we are, according to Amanda, he said the danger of a single story has to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the insight. Moving on slightly to another very important topic is the interaction between Nigeria and the Netherlands and the rest of Europe. We've come to find that it's not of mutual trust or equal trust. And I think, in my opinion, that's very true. So, for example, it's extremely challenging to Nigerians to get visas abroad. And, you know, I think someone mentioned about, you know, she mentioned about how difficult now it is to get residency. You know, you have to live in a country for 20 years. You know, I think that's absurd, right? So how do you think, you know, a business or collaboration is going to be facilitated when we face these challenges? Like, we can't even get visas directly. You have to go to another country or go to another consulate. Even when, you know, you're contributing individual to society, you know, it can be quite humiliating to have to do all that, and you have to, you know, show your records and all of that, right? A lot of the requirements that are not required from other countries, right? So how do we address this when it comes to collaboration?
Visa. Let me first briefly, don't worry, I'm not dodging your question, I'll come to it, but say something about Nigerian breweries and Friesland Campina. Yes, indeed, they are also Dutch investments in Nigeria, but they are also Nigerian companies with a strong Nigerian workforce who basically drives these companies. It's called Nigerian Breweries. It's not called Heineken Nigeria. You can buy Nigerian brewery stock on the Lagos Stock Exchange. It is, so don't forget, it's not, you know, and Friesland Campina started off with an investment of a Nigerian family and a Dutch trading company. And these are companies that are actually showing also already long time how this partnership system works. It's not, you know, there are other companies who have other histories, colonial trading companies. But these two companies are actually showing how partnerships work. Visa. Yes. Of course, for all of us, that is a challenge. Whether it's applying for a visa to go to Nigeria or to Europe, these are challenges. What we are facing, and you might know, you were referring to other consulates issuing visas on other behalf. So for the European side, we work with the Schengen visa system, which is determined basically by what the rules of engagement are called, the Schengen Visa Code, something that is decided upon in Brussels within the EU and then implemented by different countries. So it shouldn't really matter which European country issues those visas if they all stick to the same rules. Now the problem is there also a trust problem, because otherwise we wouldn't be in this position. And you see that there are quite a high number of refusals, and that's not a secret, it's published in the newspapers. A high percentage of refusals because obviously, some people might give the wrong information or not complete the form the way it's supposed to be, or simply just, you know, we come across these also fraud, where people use the letterhead of companies and then fill in their own name. And because of that, the scrutiny on visa applications is tremendous. And that means that there is a high level of rejections, and based on basically your application does not meet the requirements, or we think you're not the person who you say you are, or that you're not traveling for the purpose that you say you are. The problem with that is that the bona fide traveler, and whether that's a business traveler or whether that's somebody who goes on holiday or whatever, has to suffer because of the long waiting times, And then even if there are a few things in your files that are not correct, they will refer you back. So it is a challenge. Let's not forget that most visas are granted. It's not like no visas are granted. So the refusal rate is high, but the percentage of visas that are granted is higher than those that are refused. Nevertheless, there still is a problem. We're trying to solve that. You can't look into the hearts and minds of people and say exactly this, are you a genuine traveler or are you not? So it's based on all kind of indications. The move that you see the countries are making is towards more computerization of this. To be very honest with you, I don't know if that will actually help, because that means that at a certain moment artificial intelligence is being brought into the picture, and that will then sort of make a first shifting, are you a genuine traveler or not? What we do want to do from our side is that those people who are traveling for business, who are working with recognized companies, that their visa is longer than just for that trip they're making, that they get a 2 or 3 or 4 year visa or visa for the duration of their passport. It's something we're working on. As you might know, the visa for the Netherlands are dealt with by the French consulate in Lagos. That's for visas shorter than 90 days. Student visas and knowledge worker visas and family reunification visas are dealt with by us ourselves. And those ones we deal with ourselves. But I would like to debunk the notion that because another country is dealing with our visas, that makes it more complicated. It doesn't. It's about the quality of the applications. And visas are not easy. I was traveling myself to Ivory Coast last year, and I also need, and that I'm not complaining, but I also need a visa for Benin Republic, for Togo, for Ghana, and for Ivory Coast. So yeah, I fill the forms, and most of them are now also online, and I upload all my documentation. It's a reality, but it's an unfortunate reality. We wish it was different, but this is the situation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yes, please.
Thank you. I'd like to quickly just say something on visa applications. I want to concede that visas generally are discretionary. Visas that are granted. Okay, but the problem usually is the trust issue and then the information we provide. Now, some of us lie about this information. Let's be very honest about it. I'm the deputy president now of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce. Recently, we tried to organize a trade mission to the U.S. Then through the screening, you see a lot of people lying about their information. You don't have to lie to get a visa. Put your proper information there, and if you get it, fine. If you don't get it, okay. But the only challenge I have is that there are some people, not just in the Netherlands, this is generally speaking now, who have good travel records, and they are sometimes also denied visas. People who have never overstayed their visas, who are reputable people, you now wonder why in future applications they don't get those visas. You know, and that's becoming more and more difficult anyway with the immigration challenges, with people trying to jackpot and all of that. I'm sure you know what jackpot means now. So, but of course, we all love our country. And if people have genuine need to travel, whether it's business or tourism, I think they should be granted those visas. You know, especially because they don't intend to run away. You know, but I agree that what they put on the form most of the time, because those records are there. So the record you supplied 10 years ago, if you change it now, the computer will bring it out to show that you are lying. And once you give a hint that you have lied, you can no longer be trusted with any other information. The next thing is to just deny you the visa. So you got to be consistent with your information. And of course, your date of birth shouldn't change to start with. So if it changes, there's no way you get that visa. So those are some of the issues. How we fill the forms. But more importantly, talking about Africa now, Kenya, they have done something that is so magical. Now, you don't need visa from any African going to Kenya today. I'm told now you don't need any visa to enter Kenya. And I think that is something all African countries should do, as we have in ECOWAS countries, where I don't need any visa now to go to Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire. We should extend that to the rest of Africa. You know, I don't want to mention one country. It's so difficult to get a visa. In Africa, it was Aliko Dangote who said sometimes it's easier for him to travel to Europe than to travel to some African countries. It doesn't make sense. So let every African country be visa-free for Africans. And that can even promote inter-African trade better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So to the Nigerians on the panel today, I would like to ask, or at least for you to share, that given the visas, for example, why should we be trusted that would actually fulfill the purpose of our stay and not, indulge in other activities and jackpot, like he said?
Like the Consul General said, the almighty visa. It might be a conspiracy, I don't know, but I do know that the European space always have a quota system. They have a quota, how many visas should be given out within a certain period. Basically a year, within a month or 2 months and the rest of them. I can't confirm that. That's what I do here. And so that makes it, like you also said, that if you reach that quota, let's, for simplicity, say is 50 for January. Once that 50 is reached, if you like, have all the papers, they will still deny you the visa. That is, and it happens so often. And in the 30 years we've stayed in Germany, we've seen a lot of, business people who do not have any need, any business to stay more than 5, 6, 7 days if they want to come to any of the European countries, but they still deny them visa. So I think this is where probably the Consul General will help so much, to make sure that they will have a system where those people who are really qualified to get the visa are actually given the visa. If there's a mechanism for that, that would be fantastic. Probably a multiple visa, 1 to 3 years visa, so they don't have to come over and over again. That will ease, the pressure on the consular staffs, so they don't have to, deal with a lot of rejection or paperwork. But I think that said, I also have to, there's what we call the doctrine of reciprocity in the international community. I'll begin to really, Madam, our former ambassador, probably they should also help us, talk to the people that really matter. If the Netherlands are rejecting Nigerian visa, business people to go to Netherlands, Nigeria should also reject their visa to come back to Nigeria. And we cannot say we want to be equal partners eye to eye, and when it gets to visa, you say, give them visa, and when it comes to us, you say, don't give us. So we need to also, this equal partner eyes to eye has to be across board. And so I think if we begin to do that as a country, basically, they will probably be more thorough in also looking at the visa. Again, we have the issue of migration. We mentioned that as a net gain and not probably if well managed. And so I think most of European countries, unfortunately, including Germany, are hiding under this, that we have people who are giving false information and the rest of them. That's why they're being denied visa. The business community, we can speak all the grammar we want. We can speak all the exchange we want. If the business community are not, allowed to facilitate, for their visa to be facilitated and, have an extra advantage, then of course the economic growth will not work out. That is why throughout the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, which by our motto is in search of homeland development, we've tried to build partners in our respective countries across the globe, where we work with the embassy, the German embassy, the European embassy, the American embassy, and also try to relate the same to the foreign affairs, so that we can have business delegation where we ask for the embassies from both countries to make sure that they facilitate those businesses. And in most cases, there is a lot of success with that. And so we can see how we can optimize this model so that we make sure that those people who really, really need the visa are actually given the visa.
I hate visa with a passion, by the way. So, but I want to take a slightly different angle, and I think it is PR. We need PR. Why do we not highlight the contribution of Nigerians to a country like the Netherlands? You just mentioned 5% may be criminal in any society, but at least 95% of people making a contribution. I was in another plane, and people were complaining about students coming to the Netherlands and taking, you know, scarce housing. And I'm like, don't you realize how much these students pay? And that the average Dutch family cannot afford such sums. They invest in coming to the Netherlands. How many Nigerians have set up businesses, employ people, contribute, but they're too busy to be seen? Recently we did like a study of how the Netherlands contributes to the Nigerian economy, but why don't we have it the other way around as well? So that Nigerians will be seen as welcome and as you know, really, you need to give them visa because they contribute. If we think of an Indian going to Silicon Valley, we're like, oh, give them visa because, you know, they are going to start a startup and they're going to create jobs. Nigerians do the same thing, but let's highlight that. So I think we need to tell that story from a PR angle, and almost like Rwanda and having like visited Rwanda on a football jersey. But let's not pick Arsenal for that, by the way, for Nigeria. But yeah, let's promote Nigeria. Let's make people in their mind, like a mind shift that people see, oh, Nigerians, Africans, we need them. If we want to do something about the aging economy, we need to nearshore to places like Nigeria. We can't be without one another, like the ambassador mentioned before. Like, we are natural partners. So we have to create that notion that like there's value in that. And I think once people truly appreciate the value that Nigerians bring, that Africans bring, then, you know, hopefully with the next government, that 20 years will be returned back to perhaps even 2 years, I don't know. But let's create that story, and I think everybody in this room, everybody in Nigeria, everybody in Africa has a, has a role to play there. So let's spread that news and say, this is how we contribute to a better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Taysa. So actually, this discourse has been initiated in the Dutch Africa Strategy Plan, right? So how viable, how workable do you think this is, so that it's not just another plan and that actual change is actually realized?
It all depends on people. And this is indeed not just a plan, because it's part, how should I say, the study was done by the colleagues of the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Africa Department. And then others were consulted, but it's the core of the Dutch policy towards Africa is decided within that ministry. And I must say, in the Dutch case, it is one ministry, but it encompasses the Ministry of Foreign Trade, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Development Cooperation, which is sort of one group of people. So from all these perspectives, these are basically the guidelines to follow. And we see that it takes some time before this sort of lands with everybody in the organization. But the support is very much there in all the Dutch embassies on the African continent. The support is very much there also within the policymakers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But probably even more important, if you look at the history of this strategy, the demand came from the Dutch Parliament. It was the Dutch Parliament who sort of tasked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to come with a strategy. And the member of Parliament who asked that was actually thinking about more economic cooperation. And the Dutch Employers Organization already made a strategy for Africa before the Ministry of Foreign Affairs made. So there are all kinds of good reasons, and the economy is one of them, that make this a very important strategy. So if you combine the economy and politics and people together, then I think this is not just mere words. This is actually a basis upon which we take action. Because otherwise it would have already, in the meantime we had a change in government, otherwise it would have already long been dismissed, and it's not.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think that is our hope, that these conversations are not just being had, but that it's been implemented for our future. We're wrapping up this panel discussion. How incredible have our panelists been today? Give them a big round of applause, please. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. I think before I let you leave, I just would like to ask each and every one of you to share your final words of wisdom, any wishes, if you could wave a wand, you know, towards this collaboration. What would you desire? What would you wish? Any words of wisdom or insight you could share? I know that's a bit of a, he's ready for that one, okay?
Final words. I would like to stand on the presentation by Dr. Aniola Ajayi. Partnerships, mutual respect, mutual trust. Trade, not aid or charity for Africa. Let each African country come together. Movements should be visa-free from one country to the other. We must promote regional trade, even if we have to do it in blocks, West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, but still integrate, you know, that process. Get our GDP from Africa now is about average of 4%. Within the next 5 years, let's take it up to 8%, you know, the GDP in Africa. It is currently at about over $3 trillion. Let the growth rate be about 8%. We'll get there gradually from 4 to 5 to 6 over the next 5 years. And I think Africa should not just be the next economic frontier of the world. It should not be the future marketplace. Africa has a big market, and AFCTA has opened up all the opportunities for investors to come into Africa. And I think we should take advantage of what we have. Africa is the place to be and the place to invest. Thank you.
Final words of wisdom, no pressure. For me, it's best of both worlds. We need to learn and work from each other. On a personal level, I can tell you that by having a Nigerian husband, I ended up with beautiful twin boys. So, you know, bringing them together. But on a business side, for me, it is really that partnership, and I can't emphasize it enough. And to say, if you do it the right way, you will be successful, and to tell that positive story. So yeah, let's open everybody's ears and minds on the Nigerian side and on the Dutch side, and let's collaborate. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think we're talking about debunking, you know, notions, and we're thinking about international trade. We're talking about business with the European country. I think Nigeria have one of the most thriving diaspora community in the world. From the Israelis to the Indians, these are the people who are pushing their economy, the frontier economy. My appeal is that our Nigerian government should take their diaspora very, very serious. They are the ambassadors of this country. They are, you know, working with the different communities across the globe. Together with Nigerians in diaspora, we will be able to not only debunk this negative notion, but also drive business, you know, in intercontinental business, so to say. And also, His Excellency said, you know, business and politics needs to, you know, come together. We have also need to bring in the diasporas who also to participate in the political affairs of this country. But because with that, they can sit with also the policymakers across the globe, where they make sure that the interests of Nigerians are respected and protected. Thank you.
Yes. People, I would hope sincerely that more Dutch people in this case, but anyway, that more Dutch people would come and visit Nigeria and come and see for themselves, especially in the months of November and December in Lagos. Come and see for themselves. They will be surprised. And you know, I really, really hope that happens. We had just, to give you a short example, in Amsterdam there is a electronic dance music event called the Amsterdam Dance Event. Exactly, it happened last month, and some months ago a delegation from the Amsterdam Dance Event came to Lagos and it was already the, I think, 4th or 5th time that they came. And they come and they integrate with the dance scene here and the music scene here. They know each other, they talk to each other, they exchange with each other. And they know they're not the ones who are afraid. They're not the ones whose notions need to be debunked. So I sincerely hope that more people from the Netherlands would come and see for themselves what's happening here.
A big round of applause for our panelists today. Thank you so much for your insights and your time. That was invaluable. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have a photo together? Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so while we get ready for photos, we're going to go into a breakout session. Bring these questions to your breakout rooms and have your questions answered, please, okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much. Please, can we put our hands together once more for the panel? That was wonderful. And our moderator, Ms. Antonia Smith, had done a fantastic job, very good job. Thank you very much. And for the panelists, we want to thank Dr. Honorable Kenneth Bandi, Michelle Dillon, Tessa Bagu, and Ehi Brahma. Thank you so very much for this wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, before the breakout session, we have in our midst here somebody who's been here very early in the morning, and he's back again because of the love for what we are doing for Africa. And the topic we have in our midst, Prince Bimbo Olasore. He's the president of Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce. Can we put our hands together? Please, sir, can you come over and just for maybe 2 minutes, just talk to us, say something so that we can also have a gain from you. Thank you very much. And immediately after that, we'll also have Benedita Russo Omoso, who will talk to us on women empowerment. Then we'll go for a short break and come back for breakout session. Thank you very much, my president, Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very much. Good morning. First of all, another protocol, I can see Ambassador Eniola Ajayi. Please, good morning. You are most welcome. I think other ambassadors that are here, ladies and gentlemen. I think I bring you best wishes from the Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce. When we got the invitation, I said clearly we'll be here to really identify with what is going on here. So I think my role here today is just to listen in and probably also see what we too can also do from the British perspective as to how we too can be part of what is being done here. But what I'll say is, and I must add that point, the Nigerian diaspora are doing many great things. It's obvious to everybody. But what we need to do is to amplify the voice of the Nigerian diaspora. I think what has happened so far is that we've allowed the negative stereotypes to be the one that is defining us. So really, it's really for us to really, let's say, we are doing great things. We are actually pushing the frontier in most countries. From the Nigerian British side, it is quite clear that the Nigerian diaspora are clearly leading the lights in what we are trying to do over there. So it's just for all of us to key into it. So for me, it's also listening and also identify with what is going on here. And be rest assured that from NBC's perspective, we'll see how we can partner with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. He's kept it very short. Right now, I'll call on someone who is a very, very, very interesting personality. She's also a Niger wife. All right, Benedita Russo Omusu, please, can you come over and keep it short, please, so that we can go on a short break.
Please come to the stage, Natalie and Naira. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. Are you happy to be here? Just a quick energizer, because we have been sitting for a very long time. I just want to find out who is living in another country. Can you please raise your hand? Wow, quite a few. And who has children studying abroad? Okay, this is lesser. All right. Well, My name is Benedita Raislo Musso. I was born in Suriname, have been living in the Netherlands, and I'm married to a Nigerian who lives in Holland as well, from Port Harcourt. And as was mentioned before, I am a Niger wife. I'm very active. I've been traveling to a lot of African countries. I've been visiting Nigeria, and I've been listening to the stories. They said they were going to showcase my presentation, so I'm just waiting for that. And with me on stage are the beautiful ladies from the diaspora as well, the African diaspora as we call them. Thank you. Nathalie van Putten and Naira Gomez. And they will definitely introduce themselves as well. So if we can go back to the slide, our breakout session is about leveraging the African diaspora women for Nigeria's economic development. And it has been really quite a journey because we are actually the founders of a grassroots initiative in the Netherlands bringing African diaspora women together to learn and grow from each other, but also to build relationships with African countries and especially the women. We call them our sisters. And these sisters have been so nice, loving, and kind to us. I want to really tell a story because what I'm wearing today was not made in the Netherlands. Probably you know. It was made in Abeokuta. And I love this dress. I'm grateful for this dress. And it was our sister, our Nigerian sister, who took us by the hand and said, you know what, I want to show you the Nigerian culture. And so we went to Abeokuta, to Ebaland, if I pronounce it well. We visited so many places, and this is the stories that we will now tell to our other brothers and sisters in the Netherlands who are scared to come to Nigeria for various reasons. We can't blame them. We can't, because when you look at the news stories, you know, it's about kidnapping. It's about 419. It's about too much terrorism. Girls being, you know, whatever. So the stories are really bad and not engaging, or let's say inviting others, you know, to join us on this journey. And we're going to, please go to the next slide. During our session, we're going to talk about the following topics, but it's really interesting. Why? Because we have been able not only to travel to Nigeria, but also to Ghana. And Ghana has a wonderful program which is called the Diaspora Homecoming. So during our breakout session, we're going to explain a little bit more about the value of having such a program. Our ancestors went through the door of no return. But by God's grace, we are able to return to Nigeria. And we are not only returning, you know, but we are adding value. We're not only adding value financially in the way, like looking at our remittances, but we're also sharing knowledge. Not only are we sharing knowledge, we're also giving back to local communities, to women in rural areas, helping children, you know, buying stuff for them. And we are not the ones that are wealthy Nigerians living on Banana Island giving back. We are just normal Dutch diaspora women who want to make a change, and that's how we started. So if we can go to the next slide, please. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we learned in the last 2 days. We have been here actually quite some time, almost 2.5 weeks in Nigeria. So we have been eating a lot of jollof rice, but it's nice, but not good for our weight. And so during our breakout session, these are the topics we are going to discuss. So please go to the next slide, because this person is my role model. Who of you know her? You know her? Okay, I'm not really seeing a lot of enthusiastic reactions, but who knows Fela Kuti? Okay, yes. So she is his mother. And this was a picture of her being showcased at the Kuti Museum. We visited this museum, and she was the first woman to attend the local school in her place, which is Abeokuta. She was the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria, And not only because she traveled to the UK, as many Nigerians did, you know, on a scholarship, and she learned a lot. But during this period, she also experienced a lot of discrimination and racism. And she was so, I don't think she was like angry or traumatized, but when she came back to Nigeria, she had a mission. And when a woman is on a mission, she's on fire. And she was on fire. And that really inspired me. Why? Because she made a decision. She said, I will never wear English clothes anymore. I only wear African attire. And to honor her, I decided today I want to wear the African attire from Abeokuta. And secondly, she decided that because of what she experienced, she has to do something for other women. Because she saw what was happening in those days. A lot of women are not yet educated. So she stood up for their rights. And she also looked at the political representation. And this was so encouraging to me. It was like things falling into places. Because I've not even told you about my background, but do you know that I was a local city councillor? Being a local city councillor in my place, in my city where I live, which is Almere, for those of you who are in the Netherlands, you definitely know Almere because it's one of the top 10 cities in the country. But also what is remarkable about Almere is that it has the most people of Surinamese, roots, living there. So the most Surinamese, or let's say Almere is a city where most Surinamese people live. So I was part of the city council. Not many people looking like me were in the city council, but I made up my mind that I'm on a mission. I have to represent women, I have to represent youth, but I was not only representing women, I was also representing the diaspora. And I was not making any distinguishing, I was not distinguishing the African diaspora or the Ghanaian diaspora or diaspora from the Gambia. No, I stood for all their rights. So when I came to this Kuti Museum and I saw her and I saw what she did, I said, yes, we have to move forward. And so please go to the next slide. We started in the Netherlands with our initiative, which is called the Almere Ladies. I just added actually the diaspora because we're not only diaspora, we don't discriminate. Everybody is welcome. You understand? But you also have to learn from us because we bring something to the table. Whenever we go on a cultural exchange as this, we bring back knowledge. So we share it during our meetings. And we have decided that we are actually looking at cultural exchange, international partnerships, because we want to take many women to Nigeria, to Ghana, to the Gambia, and they should be safe. Because I was speaking also with another lady, and she told me, oh, Benedita, if we come to Nigeria, do we need police escort? I said, no. But in fact, I was like, maybe you do, because I can't guarantee their safety. But if I travel, for example, to Morocco, I don't even think about police escort. But here it might be required. So these are the basic things, which is actually a call to action to partner also with the local government or partner with organizations, which we really don't want to, but we have to bring in crowds, to bring in groups so that they will feel safe. At this moment, I can't guarantee 20 women stepping into a car going to Abeokuta from Lagos and come back safe. I can't guarantee, but I want to bring them. You know, I have been going because, as you know, I am a Niger wife. I have been traveling to Nigeria, to many places in Nigeria, and I'm grateful for that experience. Our children have come to Nigeria many times. We are not scared, but we are aware. And so if you have never come to Africa, being from the African diaspora, you have not put your foot on the soil. You have to come back. You have to come back to Africa, but they need to feel safe. And so I also want to mention that what we are offering is unique because we are also offering the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, to travel to, for example, Suriname, to travel to Curacao, to travel to the islands, to travel to Jamaica, to learn also about what the ancestors experienced. So it's giving back. It is actually knowledge sharing. And so Natalie and Naira are going to explain more about the cultural exchange ideas and the plans that we have to go forward. And the next slide, so then I will round up, and if there's still time, I'll quickly give the mic to Naira and Natalie. This is actually our visit to the Kuti Heritage Museum, and we're really proud to stand here because this was the car that she drove. She was the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria, as we told you, and so we are here. This is a cultural exchange, and our guide, she's from Nigeria. Women empowerment. So please go to the following slide. We were also privileged to visit the Olumo Rock, and these ladies climbed to the top. I couldn't, it was too hot for me, I'm sorry. And, and this is our sister. Her name is Nadu, and she will be here tonight. And we are so grateful for this because we feel safe with her. She is our safe space. She explains to us, how the Nigerian culture works, and she doesn't ask us for money, even though we can pay, we can afford, but she's not looking for our money. And in Nigeria, I can say it here, this is our safe space, please, media, no. But when you come as a foreigner, they think that money grows on the trees sometimes in Europe. They're always asking us for money. So when you are with a sister, you feel safe because even if you want to give her something or you want to buy her something, it's up to you. Of course, we have to pay for all the expenses. We are willing to do that. Don't get us wrong. We're not looking, I know we are Dutch. In our mind, everything has to be cheap, affordable. We do things with tiki and everything has to be defined. No, but we want to give back. You understand? So we are grateful for our Nigerian sister who took us by the hand and showed us, because she's Yoruba, of course she had to bring us here. You understand? So we are now actually looking for partnerships, international partnerships, to make those trips to the countries, the diaspora homecoming, and work with these people. And it's not only for women, because we know that there are also men interested, children interested. A lot of people from the USA are coming, and they are also saying it's very emotional. When they come here, when they see what has happened to their ancestors, it makes them angry. You understand? But there's also time for healing, and there's a time to learn and grow and to go now to the next level, which is using your power. So let me just quickly give the mic to Naira. And before we go into the breakout, I'm looking at Pastor Elvis, so he will let us know if this is the time or we still have some 5 minutes. Okay. Yes. All right. So I'll give Naira, please, you can stand up for your poem.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. My name is Naira. I love my name. Also, when I'm in Nigeria, it's about a dream. 20 years ago, when I first met a Nigerian man in Almere, and he told me, your name is the Nigerian money, so everybody must love me. Naira. I'm Naira, Nigerian money. So I love to be here, and the reason why I looking for the culture to see what's happening in the past is because I was looking for who I am. And I have a poem written by a brother of mine, and I will really like to read it for you, and it introduce myself also in the poem. Yes? Please. Who am I? Or who will we become? Where is this road leading? I think I know who I am, who I was, and who I might become. Yet still the questions keep echoing. Who am I, or who will we become? I carry my punch of pride, my thoughts spinning in circles, like a rotary wheel frozen in frost, and whispering, I ask, I am Tula, a hero from Curacao. Or is Tula alive in me? They call it bluff, but words mix with fire and gunpowder presses my feelings so far inside that when the lights go out, I even wrestle with what's in me. But if history is dead, we all were born dead. And if history is alive, then I live too. Shake the dust of inheritance of your skin. Let us weave a new pattern. Let us throw false pride off our backs. Reject hypocrisy, hatred, and lies. Stand firm. Let us reap away and destroy the parasites that cover our eyes. Stop tearing each other apart. You crush my feet, so I may crush your head. Tears, rage, and resentment sow and consumed. Black or white, fat or thin, with title or without title. Lay the axe and machetes aside and ask yourself, who am I, or who will we become? This poem is written by Carlton Marcus, a Curacao man who about 5 years now, we are reading about the African history. For us, a very important part of our ancestors' life, so we can stand firm and know who we are. Even when I was in the hotel, maybe the next slide will show something I had seen, and it catch my attention because as I'm standing here, and most of us from the diaspora not even know which part of Africa we are from. I cannot say I'm a Nigerian. I cannot say I'm from Ghana or from Gambia. But I wanted to feel, I wanted to come to Africa to see what it means to be in Africa. And like Kwame Nkrumah say, even if you didn't born in Africa, you are an African, and Africa was born in you. And that's what I embrace, and I want to see as much of African country that I can, and so bring also my people to see that, and bring you also to Curacao to see what our ancestor did for us, so we can stand here and say, when they thought there was a door of no return, yes, after 400 years, I stand here because we did return. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Nathalie van Putten. I was also born of Curacao. If you don't know, Curacao was a colony of the Netherlands. I was migrated when I was 5 years from Curacao to the Netherlands. I experienced a trauma that I didn't know it was a trauma. Since 2 years ago, I found out it was a trauma. I used to stutter for 40 years. I'm 45 now. I went to the Netherlands when I was 5. I thought it was just stuttering since I was small. It is since 2 years ago I started doing NLP. I don't know who knows that. It's neuro languages programming. I started asking questions about the past, where I came from, and my identity. Starting to know the question who I was, because when I was 5, I started to go to Netherlands. I didn't know Curaçao. And I learned the language from my mother and the family. But I was Netherlands. I was more a Dutch person. And since 2 years, I started investing much more about my country and where I came from and the past of, the slave trades and all the past things that happens. That I'm standing here now, that I found myself in healing, that I can speak more clearly. And thank you. And it's very important also for the people that have been to, of that not been to, that the people that are in the West, that they also have to find themselves and to know who they really are, because sometimes you can exchange yourself for to fit in the place that you are. I have tried to fit so much to be as a Dutch, to be accepted, to be loved by them. And you can do so hard work, you can work so hard, you can achieve so much, but you are still not a Dutch person for the Dutch always, because you are always a black person in another country. But it starts with when you really accept yourself, really for who you are. Wow. So I really want to thank everybody, and I want you guys here in Africa to understand and to feel the pain that we in the West have been through, and try to help us to recover our heritage, our feet on this ground, together as we are starting our business to come together in Africa with the ladies. God bless. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much. Okay, you can take a good picture. After this, we'll go have lunch, please. This is true, 1 o'clock. But before that, I'm quickly going to introduce somebody, then Pastor will come on the stage to do something real quick. We have Mr. Kamar Salami, representing the Honorable Commissioner for the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment, Lagos State Government is here. Please, can you stand to your feet for recognition? Please, let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much. As representing Lagos State Government here today, we appreciate you. Yeah, Pastor Elvis, it's your turn. Let me hand over this microphone. Let people see your handsome face again. Thank you for putting this together. It's getting interesting.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly do this. Mama, if you please, can you come? After this, we are going for lunch break, tea, coffee, and all of that. I've been told that we can make use of the inside. They're going to change it for the evening, so don't worry. Because I was afraid that we're going to change the color from white to brown when we eat here, but they said we shouldn't bother ourselves. We want to thank our speaker, our panelists, with just a little gift. You know, we want to be Nigerian, because if it was Dutch, I would have brought you flowers. So we were arguing, what should we give to them? We are Nigerians living in Holland. We have some European guests and all that. I told them, let's buy them flour. They said, no flour today. So we're going to give them something that is Nigerian. So we're going to ask, where do I start from now? Let's start from the consular. So these ones are for the sisters. Okay, Mama. Okay, Ambassador. Dr. Ajayi, please come for this. It's just a little gift to say thank you for the time, for the beautiful words that you have spoken to us. and we are taking it to heart. On behalf of the Voice Achievers Award Committee, we say thank you, ma. Can we put our hands together for her? Very busy, but she gave us, just do it down here. Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you so much, Mom. We appreciate you. God bless you, ma. I'm going to invite the consular to come. The consular. Tessa has left, but she'll be back in the evening. No, Tessa has left. Yeah, she left. No, she's not here. Yeah, please. That's for the consular. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. Yeah. And then our panelists, Dr. Bandi. Where's Dr. Bandi? I think I saw Dr. Bandi. Dr. Bandi is here. And also our moderator, she did a very good work. Antonia. We will make enough pictures. Antonia, come. Yeah. And Mr. Ahi. Brahma, please. Mr. Brahma. Mr. Brahma. I don't want to be inside. I just think. Thank you so much.
For one more? Oh, yeah, not captured. Okay. Thank you, my brother. Yeah.
She has left. Yeah, she left, so just keep it. MC, what is going to be the order? Because we all cannot go at the same time. So, yeah, please. So, please enjoy. Okay, they said we should do it table by table, you know. So, but we're going to start from the middle table then, where our speaker is. So, please, we can go to our left-hand side. There is it dinner room or lunch room, tea, coffee, and all of that is there. Yeah, so please, 2 minutes. Oh, okay, there's 2 sections. Okay, so first, ushers, please come and lead them, to there, and then they can start also from the back to the other room. No, let's do it this way. Pastor Mani, Pastor Mani, ushers, please come with me, please. Yeah, you can come with me, sir. Excellency, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. So, John, there's still some people there. Let everybody come in so that we will have a good audience. So, as it was announced by the MC, we're going to have a breakout session. We are using this same place. So, when the leaders of the sessions are called, John, you still have their topics. So we're just going to invite the 4 leaders. So Barrister Eze Eluche, I think I've seen him here. Barrister Eze Eluche, please come this way. Samantha Jacobs, come this way. Mazi Azu, I've seen him also. The British man. Dr. Mazi, you are also called. And Sarah. Sarah is also here. Yeah, they should just stand here. Yeah, Sarah also come. Yeah. So these 4, they are going to be leading. Azu is coming. You have a choice. 2 men, 2 ladies. And then the women are also going to be having a breakout session. So I'm going to invite Benedita, but he wants to take all the women. I don't know if you guys like that idea that she takes all the women, He said that would not be fair. Okay. So John, so you're going to read their topics, and then those who wants to go with Mazi, you just go to him, Huh? No, we are using the same place here. You're just going to take some chairs with you on the table and sit together. Are you getting the picture? So we are not going out of this place. You just take a chair, and then those who are interested in your subject, will be with you. You discuss together. You come up with 1 or 2 resolutions, not too many ideas, because Europeans don't like reading too many things now. They just want the point. You know? So we're going to give them 2 points, and then you pick one person from your team that will tell us what you recommend. And that's what we are going to work with. Is that clear enough? Okay.
All right, so the breakout session topics are: 1, Europe's relevance to Africa in a changing world. Please, let's listen.
Who is responsible for that?
Yeah, it's Chief Sarah Nystrom. Europe's relevance to Africa in a changing world. Yeah,
So
you are the best.
If you are interested,
Yeah, if you're interested in that topic, please go to her. Europe's relevance to Africa in a changing world. Then number 2 is how to upgrade indigenous knowledge in policy making. That's Mazi Godson Azu. Your topic is how to upgrade indigenous knowledge in policy making. Okay, so if you are interested in that topic, this is the man to meet. This is the man to be with, please, if you are interested in that topic. How to upgrade indigenous knowledge in policy making, please. So take a corner, they'll come meet you there. Well, when I'm done, I can explain what you are supposed to do to you, because it's also here. So number 3 is building global civil society networks. Building global civil society networks. This will be handled by Barrister Eze Eluche. Yes, so that is the man to meet for this topic, building global civil society networks. Yeah, Barrister Eze Eluche. Yes, okay. 4th is practical collaboration between Dutch and African countries. Practical collaboration between Dutch and African countries. This will be handled by Samantha Jacobs. Yes, Samantha Jacobs. So just take a corner and let your people walk up to you. People are just, please, otherwise you will miss out. You won't remember. Please, so just follow the people as we call their topics. So,
Yes. So we are calling upon all the beautiful women here. Please let me see your hand if you're a woman or identify as a woman. Yes, we are going to have a session in that room where Pastor Elvis is standing, and we want to learn more about you. So it's a cultural exchange. And we're also going to learn about public speaking, storytelling, because we have our queen with us, Mrs. Oyinlola. Please stand up. She's our teacher, our mentor, so she will be helping us during this session. So all the women, you are welcome. The men, thank you for next time.
So I'm going to read out the topics again because people didn't move. Please. Europe's relevance to Africa in a changing world. Please. Who is handling that? Chief Sarah Nystrom. She's somewhere there. Yeah, okay, yes. So if you're interested in that topic, Europe's relevance to Africa in a changing world, Please come join her. Please come join her. Number 2 is how to upgrade indigenous knowledge in policy making. Mazi Godson Azo. Yes, you have your people already? All right. Then number 3 is building global civil society networks. You are with Barrister Eze Eluchi. I think he's somewhere there. Okay, you have your people there? Please, that's where he is. You can join him there. Then number 4 is practical collaboration between Dutch and African countries. Samantha Jacobs. She's somewhere there. All right. Thank you very much. We have just 15 minutes. 15 minutes each group. Please put your thoughts together and we'll have, please come. Your time starts now. So by 1:45, we'll have you come talk about your recommendations. Thank you. Your time starts now. This is 1:30. So by 1:45, we'll be done.